Hi everybody, just give me a minute, just getting live on my Facebook group as well. Just takes an extra couple of minutes to hit that button. There we go. All right, I think I'm live in both places, or almost live in both places. There's just a bit of a delay. So hey everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Wednesday tonight, and I jump on and do a technique on Wednesday nights. So I was trying to think about something that I could do that I haven't done before. And if you're like me, you have a ton of little bits of designer series paper. So I thought maybe I would mix my other passion together with my stamping passion and do some weaving with paper. I've got a whole bunch of these strips of designer series paper that I just cut up from the loose pieces that I just kind of keep in a little file folder. And so I thought I would cut some of them up and do a little bit of weaving with paper. I think it'll be really pretty, and I also think it'll be a great way to use up some of the designer series paper. Just trying to check in both places to see if there's any comments. Make sure I can see all the comments. All right, I'm going to switch over and we'll get started. All right, so I'm going to use the Attention Shoppers card. What am I talking about? It's Attention Shopper stamp set, and I've cut 1/2-inch strips of the Full of Life designer series paper. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of these extra pieces. This is 6x6 cardstock. I've got a whole bunch of the pieces, and so I just grabbed a couple and cut them into 1/2 inch by 6 inches. Okay, so we're going to do the weaving first, and then we'll put the card base together. So I've taken a piece of basic white cardstock, and I cut it 3 3¾ by 5. And so I think I'm going to do it this way. So I'm just going to take, and I'm going to actually put that one, let's see, this is 1/2 inch. So I'm hoping I'm going to mix it up a little bit, use different pieces. And so I'm going to weave vertically and horizontally. Hey, Connie, welcome. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Stamp and Seal. And I'm just going to put Stamp and Seal across the top. And I'm going to take and put my pieces so that they just overlap a little bit. Because, of course, when you're weaving, I can't glue these down. So I'm going to I'm just going to lay them on aligned up. So I'm going to do one side and then the other. And I'm going to just fold it over so it sticks and creates a bit of a flap. And I'm going to alternate them because I've got one side of this paper is this really pretty starburst. Okay, don't want this to stick. Let's use my silicone mat. So I'm just going to lay them on here so that I can roughly get I want a bit of a space between them, and so I just have to kind of play with that and see how much of a space I can actually get. So I'm just going to hold them. This is fiddly, I admit. I'm the first to admit fiddly. Okay, I think I can get one more in there. That one, and I may have to adjust this one, that one. That one. Okay, we're going to adjust this a little bit and put that one. Okay, so now that I've figured out how many I can actually get across, I think I will start again. So I'm going to just lay that one again. So use your silicone mat so it doesn't stick to your grid paper if that's what you're using, or your glass mat. So you just have to play with a little bit so that you can figure out how much room you can get between. And like I said, I'm going to alternate them so that I have starburst, and then not starburst, and then starburst, not starburst, and starburst. Okay, so I'm just going to get just a peekaboo of color. So you can just kind of take, once you've figured that out, you can just kind of take and fold over. Like I said, I'm only doing the top because I want to make sure I'm able to weave in through these. So of course, when you're weaving, you go under, over, under, over. Maybe that's not an of course, but you do. You go under, over. When I weave, it's a whole lot easier because my loom actually, it has petals that lift these up and over. And I might have to cut some more. Okay, so when you weave, I'm going to go under, over. This is why you don't glue this down, because you have to kind of do this under, over, under, over. If you did this in school, it was kind of a painful thing to do. And then you alternate. So then you go over, under. And if I had to do this with my loom, I wouldn't make nearly what, I wouldn't be weaving like I do. All right, we're just going to try to weave these in. So it's going to get to the point. I might run, actually I will run out because I didn't cut enough strips, but I'm not going to do the whole thing. We'll just do enough that it looks pretty. So we'll get the weaving done like that. You could do this with ribbon too if you wanted to. So switching it up here because I've got, and if I wanted to do the whole piece, I would just have to cut some more of these 1/2 inch strips. All right, like that. And I'm going to turn this, and again, over, under. How many of you remember making cardboard looms when you were in school and weaving? My loom is not cardboard. My loom that I use to make my fabric and is a wooden. It's a Japanese company called Saori. What I love about my Saori weaving is the fact that there are no rules. So there are no right and no wrong, and you don't make mistakes and you don't follow a pattern. And that's just right up my alley, as you can kind of see if you follow me. You know, I kind of wing it sometimes with my cards. Oh, geez, and then I've got this. Okay, so it's a bit fiddly, if you hadn't noticed that. All right, under, over, over, under, over. And then the last one goes under. There we go. All right, so we're now going to just kind of get this so that this kind of holds itself together once you actually get it in place. And we can move those like that. Oh, Salish weaving on cedar planks. Hey, Cindy, welcome. I don't know what that is, Connie. I would love to see what you've done. Okay, there we go. Yeah, mine, I don't know what my loom is made out of. It's floor loom. It stands, yeah, probably about 4 feet tall, and it's about 36 inches wide. It's actually probably in centimeters wide, maybe not even 36 inches. So I'm going to put some more Stampin' Seal along here so that I can adhere my pieces down, just to make sure it's holding my bits. So Connie, if you've got pictures, oh, grade 7. Oh, cool. Yeah, I've never done that. I just learned, in fact, mine, I think, wasn't even in school. I think I took a night school weaving class at one point. So clearly I always wanted to learn to weave. And we made it out of cardboard. I didn't go very far with it. It was night school and I was traveling, and so I didn't get very far with with my weaving at that point in time. But in the last year, I have been going great guns with weaving, as many of you will know. Okay, so we're going to take that, and we're now going to put some more Stamp and Seal. You could cut these. Let's take that silicone mat that's very sticky. You could cut these off. I'm actually not going to do that. I'm just going to leave them so that they're just, there's lots of paper that I'm tucking over to hold it in place. Like that. So if you did this with designer series paper, it's kind of nice. The weight of the designer series paper is not too thick. But you could do it with cardstock as well. So just wrapping. So then we can use this to make a card as the background. There. All right. How cool is that? At least I think it's kind of cool. Bright and cheery. But I did think I was going to put it on a piece of basic white. And I'm going to use Stamp and Seal just because I think that will just make sure I hold it in place. There. But lots of Stamp and Seal on that now. And so now I can just take and put this on. So I cut a piece of basic white cardstock that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I have a little bit of gluey bits here from when it was sticking onto my, so if you've got an adhesive, what's that called? Adhesive remover, eraser. Okay, so now I've grabbed a piece of, basket weaving also has intrigued me, Connie, too. I've never done it before, but so this is a piece of berry burst that is 4 1/4 by 11, and we're just going to score that in half at 5 1/2 and fold into the mountain. And so we'll put this down. And I'm just, because I've got my Stamp and Seal out, you guys know most of the time I use my liquid glue. But for tonight, paper. Just looking on here. Nope, I'm not seeing anybody. The other night I missed, so if there are people commenting on Facebook, I'm sorry I'm not seeing your comments. The other night I missed them. They didn't show up for me. But how pretty is that? I think that's a really pretty card. Now I'm going to tone it down a little bit because I went ahead and punched out, except I've now lost my circle that I punched out. Oh, there it is. I punched out a 2-inch circle. I just thought that kind of maybe putting something on there would kind of tone down the bright color. So I thought I would do a couple of stamps and color them. And my favorite, of course, is this bag, gift bag. So I'm just going to stamp a couple of those. And while I've got my tuxedo black memento, I'm going to make a birthday card. So I'm going to stamp the happy birthday on this piece of basic white that is 1/2 inch wide. This is just one of the pieces that I cut off. I always save my bits. If you guys could see all of my little bits of paper. Yeah, I save them and then try to use them. Sometimes I'm not very good at using them. Get the right colors here. Okay, so let's use some Daffodil Delight and not that. I'm looking for blueberry bushel, and what's no longo? I'm looking for berry burst, real red. Berry burst. All right, so let's use these to color these bags. So I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight on this one. So when I color these bags, I actually am not really worried about blending because they're just too small of images to do the blending. The little bits of paper, if you like to do paper piecing, these images in this Attention Shoppers are the perfect images for paper piecing. So we'll do one bag in Daffodil Delight and the other one in Blueberry Bushel. And we're just coloring. And I didn't bring my dies over. So I'm actually just going to fussy cut these. Sometimes it's just easier to do that. And we will do the handles in Berry Burst. Right. And then I think I'm going to do, this is light Berry Burst. So I'm just going to do all of the tissue paper in Berry Burst, because you guys don't want to see me color. I guess I could have done it in like pretty in pink or something like that, but I'm not doing a very good job of coloring because I should have colored one of these in advance so you guys weren't watching me color. You could use your Stampin' Blend, or this is Stampin' Blends, but you could also use just your markers with this as well. So I'm just going to take and cut these out. Like I said, there are dies that you can use, but because I didn't grab my dies before I came, I won't take the time to go and grab them. So I'm just going to take and fussy cut. You guys know that I like to fussy cut. So I'm not getting too close to the edge. And I like it when there's a straight line because that makes it really quick to zoom. There's one, and here's the other. So if you hadn't heard, this is the stamp set. So we're using the Attention Shoppers, the Full of Life Designer Series paper, the iridescent faceted gems, which I'm going to use, and the iridescent striped ribbon, or any ribbon, for our upcoming Fancy Folds and More Stamp Camp on August 17th. If you are interested in that, you need to purchase the bundle, the Designer Series paper, the ribbon, and embellishments through my online store. And you will get 7 make and takes using these with your for free when you purchase the bundle, or the equivalent amount. So if you already have this suite, you can purchase the equivalent amount, which is I think about $93.75 or 25 cents, something like that in Canada, and you will get it for free as well. And tonight's the last night of bonus days. So if you're interested in this, I have a couple of extra kits. I do need to mail them out by Tuesday at the latest, so you get them. But if you're interested, let me know. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little trick. This is the photopolymer stamp. This is the cake, and I really like this. These dotted, kind of a ruffled, wavy dots. And so I'm just taking this is just the regular Stampin' Write marker. You can't use your blends when you do this technique because they dry too quickly. They're alcohol. This is water-based. So I've just taken and colored that, and then I'm just going to huff on that with my breath, and then I'm going to stamp. And that will transfer a design to your gift bag so that they're not quite so plain. So just take your marker, and I'm using the wide brush end and kind of going almost flat. Huff on it. And again, it has to be your Stampin' Right marker and not your alcohol Stampin' Blends for this to work. Okay, so let's take some dimensionals. Oh, this is definitely a bright and cheery card. So that's going to go, let's see, that's good. That's going to go on like that. And that can go on like that. And then cut this. I think I'm out of my dimensionals. So we'll pop up this circle. Like that. All right, so I've already got my sentiment stamped, and I went ahead and cut another piece of berry burst that is 3/4 of an inch. So my sentiment piece is 1/2 inch. So we're just going to adhere that on to this with dimensionals. Trim that end off, it's a little long. Okay, there we go. And so that can just go on like that. Okay. Deciding where I want to put that. Sometimes I have to think about it. All right, I may change my mind yet. That. I think there. All right, and then the last thing I need for the front of the card are some of these beautiful iridescent rhinestones. I am absolutely loving these little ones. They're 2 sizes. So this card is a little bit puffy, but I didn't want to glue it, glue the pieces of designer series paper down. And if I have an extra piece of them, I could have actually used it on the inside of the card, but I didn't. And now I'm just going to take and stamp without coloring. Just this, just one of these little gift bags for the inside. Hey Shirley, welcome. Again, I'm not seeing any comments on Facebook, so if I'm missing comments that you're making, I'll go in and check them afterwards. But for whatever reason, occasionally I don't see the comments coming in through my Facebook group. All right, there we go. Bright and cherry card using paper weaving technique. So 1/2 inch strips, just woven in. You could use ribbon if you wanted to as well, but thought I'd use up some of my scraps of my designer series paper for a very bright and cheery card. Okay, let's come back over here. Find, how do I go? There we go. Thanks, Shirley. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Now, let's see, it's Thursday tonight, so I will be back live on Saturday at 11 a.m. It is a long weekend here in Canada. I don't know if it's a long weekend in other parts, maybe in the U.S., but I think in most parts of Canada, It's a long weekend in British Columbia. It's British Columbia Day or BC Day. And so we get a holiday on Monday. So I will be live on Saturday and Sunday, but if you're out and about, hopefully you can catch me on the replay. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Don't forget, it's the last day to take advantage of the bonus coupons. And if you are interested in the fancy folds and more stamp camp, you need to let me know by tomorrow at the latest so I can get your kit in the mail and I can tell you how you need to place your order. And if you aren't living in Canada and you live either in the US or the UK, I can put you in touch with a demonstrator in those markets if you're interested in the stamp camp. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great evening. Happy stamping.